It's a Canon EOS 20D and it's in pristine condition. The owner bought it and didn't even use it. The first time it got used was when I unboxed it to make sure it was still working. And it came with two lenses. This is a 75 to 300 and a 17 to 85. It's not going to rival the modern cameras because it's only a 8.2 megapixel sensor. What I'm looking forward to is going back to basics as far as how to adjust the settings on the camera. So let's take a look inside. You won't believe how pristine this is. Even the box is still pristine. And this was released 2004. All the cables are still here. It had a video out cable, but you have to get a converter to get that to display. Now this does not take video. It just shows you what's on the screen. And they say video out. It's kind of a misnomer. And the camera strap is still in its original packaging from 2004. Now the retail price back then was $1,300. $1,499 actually. $1,499 back then. And so this little thing here, which is neat, covers the eyepiece of the camera. And this is actually not too bad of a quality. I considered selling it again, but I think I'll just keep it just for practice. Put these aside. All the manuals are still in here. Just like it wasn't touched. And a bunch of CDs. I don't even have a CD player to try this stuff. But all the manuals are still in here. All the CDs. Looks like it has, not even sure what that is. But there's a Photoshop Elements 2.0. That's crazy. And yeah, a bunch of stuff. All right, let's put that out the way. There's bags that I emptied before. And this is a charger for the battery. Look at that bugger. Looks brand new. 0, 50, 75, 100. Looks brand new. And the camera. Now I unpacked this before. I just put it back in here for effect. Nothing else in this box. But here it is. That is it in all its glory. Has a display at the top so you can see all the settings. And tiny calculator-like screen at the back. You can adjust the settings here like you would on regular cameras, manual, the fake modes like portrait and so on, aperture control and so on and so forth. There's a custom button at least. I think it looks fantastic. It's pristine. Two other buttons here. This is for the flash. On this side is a USB, a mini USB, I think you call this one, and video out. One of these is for the remote and one of these is for a flash sync. Under here we have the tripod attachment, looks like a 1/4-20. And then this is the battery compartment. This battery, it looks like it just has a AA tuck in a case. I'm not sure, but this is what the battery looks like. And over here is the memory card. No, this is what they call a compact flash memory card. And the max this could take at the time, I think they said 8 gigs of memory. I did buy a 16 because I read somewhere where it can take a 16, but when I put it in, I don't know if the camera did it or this actually wasn't an 8 by mistake, but it only read 8 gigs available. take a look at the sensor. And that is it. That's the mirror in here. You can see that. You can see the mirror. Needs a little cleaning. I think I'll clean it before. I think I'll clean it before I take it out to shoot. Now let's compare the size of this with today's cameras. All right, so here is the 6600. That's the A7R3. So it's considerably bigger. But if you compare it with a full frame, not that much bigger. The flash makes it look like it's big, but it's not that much bigger. I guess the flange is a little bit, there's a big distance here, mostly because it has to make space for the mirror, and this is mirrorless. But this is actually, it feels the same weight. I mean, you could tell you grams all day, but how it feels the same to me. But this also has a cage on it. Let's compare the screen size. Now this is not an attempt to replace. It's not going to replace or even compare to modern cameras. But look at the size of the screen, and all of this is not real estate, you know. It's just this little bit right here. This real estate versus this camera that has all this real estate. And the EVF is about the same size. It's not going to be the same quality. This only has 9 autofocus points that you can see through here. Let's take a look at the lenses. The first one we'll take a look at is (17 to 85) variable aperture f4 to 5.6. Now that looks beautiful to me. Doesn't do a whole heap. Now this one does have image stabilizer. 2004. From 2004 it has image stabilizer, which is incredible, I think. That's the glass back there. And that's the glass back here. Made in Japan. And it has a 67mm filter thread, which means I probably have step-up rings I could use with this. Cool. Let's see how it looks on the camera. I think that looks pretty cool. Looks more serious than it is. Looks like it looks like it can do way more than it can do. It only takes pictures. Now on the lens there is, if you can see that, like a meter that tells you how far you're focusing. That's infinity, and that's the closest focusing distance for this lens. So you can do macro shots with this, so-called macro shots. And then there's an autofocus manual switch, and you can turn the stabilizer on or off. There's no focus hold on this lens. All right, let's take a look at the other one. And this one does not have image stabilization. It does not, but it's 75 to 300, which is not terrible. But it's at its widest is f4. So it's not going to let in a whole lot of light. But you can imagine with a body that doesn't have image stabilization and your hand moving around, a lot of the shots are going to be blurry. It's not going to be as sharp as your stabilized lenses. And it opens up a considerable amount. That's a 75 to 300. Let's take a look at the Sony lens with a similar range. 18 to 135. This is more like it's a 70 to 350. Let's compare that without the hood. All right, so it's a little bit bigger, I think. But just about the same size. Just about the same size. And in theory, the old one opens wider than this one. See how this looks on the camera. Man, look how pristine this looks. Look how pristine that looks. That looks incredible. Incredible. In the menu, we don't have a lot of options here. Don't have a lot of options. But you can do red eye, turn the beep off, shoot without card, that kind of stuff. The basic things. And what else can we do? I think you can do black and white straight from camera. You can adjust the white balance, the typical stuff, but it's not going to have pixel shift or anything modern like that. But the proof is in the pudding, so we'll just take some pictures and see what we can do out in the field. You can illuminate. Let me see how much charge I have. Okay, looks like it's fully charged still. You're going to press this button to illuminate the little LCD dial up here. White balance, I'm going to leave it auto. And then exposure compensation or metering, I'm going to leave that to multi. All right, we'll take it out and see what we can get. All right, so I just got a chance to pop the memory card into the computer, and it's the compact flash drive. And the sound you're hearing is from the Ulanzi wireless mic. So this is kind of a twofer, testing an old camera, the 19-year-old camera, with a microphone that was released maybe a week or so ago by Ulanzi. And I'm screen recording Lightroom. So I'm just going to upload these pictures. I have not looked at them yet, so I have no idea if they look good or not. And looks like we got 2 folders. We got a bunch of stuff here. All right, let's just drag everything in it. Actually, let me do it this way. All right. So I did pick, we're not going to look at 224 pictures, but I did take the pictures in RAW and JPEG. And remember, this is a 19-year-old camera. And I don't know what the pictures will look like on this screen. So let's go with, so I imagine, let's see if we can pick up a pattern. I figure the first one is going to be the RAW. Let's see. Oh, nope. First one is JPEG. Second one is RAW. First one JPEG. Second one is RAW. Okay, good. So we'll know that pattern. JPEG, RAW. Okay. So let's go back. Let's go all the way to the beginning. Let's look at this one. So this is going to be RAW. I'm just going to keep this up. That doesn't look too bad at all. Let's try to zoom in. That does not look too bad at all. Let's look at this one. And then let's do some changes. That's not terrible. This is completely usable. Completely usable. All right, here are some dark pictures of sunset. I didn't think this would be any good, but let's just see. All right, so we can recover some stuff in here, but it's not going to be great. And this is at, let's see, does it give you the settings? Yes, it does. So this is the 75 to 300, ISO 100, and at f5, 1/800 of a second. Now, I guess I could have used a shorter time, but I don't have image stabilization on this lens that came with the camera. So that was my attempt at doing that. I could have used a tripod also. That's a JPEG. Can you do anything with this JPEG? Let's see. Well, interestingly, the JPEG looks better. Maybe if we, no, it's interesting. All right. And this is, now the one thing I can say about these lenses and this setup, you gotta make sure you got enough light. And flash is not gonna help from this distance, at least not an on-camera flash. Even if I raise the exposure, it's gonna look like trash. So that's to fall apart. And this was taken at 5.6 1/250th of a second with the telephoto lens. So no image stabilization. And the tripod wouldn't, well, I guess I could have used a tripod for this one too. These are gonna be trash. Let's see if we have a little more light with this one. Nah. How about this? All right, that's not too bad at all. Got some useful bokeh in the back, but that's not terrible. If we zoom in, that's not terrible at all. That's the JPEG version. That's the RAW. And if we process this, let's see if we can process this. Let's just use auto. I mean, that looks real cool. This is completely usable. I'm definitely keeping this camera. And then I was trying to use manual focus on this little flower in here. See what we can get. That's not too bad at all. Greens are really vibrant. Really vibrant. This is a JPEG version of that. That's less saturated. See what else we got that's nice to look at, okay? And this was using the so-called macro functions. I imagine this is a, okay, this is the standard zoom, or the one that's not a telephoto, right? Yeah, 17 to 85. And it's f5.6 1/250th of a second, ISO 100. I try to keep the ISO as low as possible with the same convention to decrease the chance of noise being introduced. And that's the JPEG version. That's the RAW. Okay, let's see this one. All right, I was trying to get some insects in here. Let's see what this looks like. That doesn't look bad at all, man. I mean, back here now looks kind of messy. What was this shot at? This was shot at, f5.6 1/400th of a second. And let's see the JPEG version. Let's add some saturation in here. I mean, that's not terrible. How close can we get to this ant? Okay, not a lot of detail, but it's not terrible. This is without the ant. Okay, this is even closer. That's the RAW version. So let's see what we can do. That's not too bad at all. For a 19-year-old camera. This is a JPEG. 19-year-old camera. That's not too bad. I'm just taking random flowers here. Let's see what we got. Man, that looks pretty. That's a JPEG. That looks pretty. That looks real pretty. Let's do some. I think I kind of like this. The as shot more than the auto. No, I like the as shot better because it makes it look real purple. What else we got? We have this flower. Not sure where it was focusing for this one. But again, it looks oil. Okay, don't zoom in. Don't zoom in. But I can see how this is useful. See this one. Man, that doesn't look too bad at all. You can't even tell where this flower is. You can see my fingers. I was trying to hold it steady in the wind. My fingers right here. And then I went back out to the park when there was more light. Let's zoom in a little bit. Okay, we're not going to get a lot of detail on this. But let's see what we can do with auto here. And let's just turn the exposure down a little bit. I wouldn't even try cropping, but this is what I was trying to focus on. this goose. And then that's a JPEG. Man, that's completely usable. Wouldn't print it, but you could share this. You can absolutely share this. This is definitely going to be a hobby camera. And it was so much fun without having, I had to guess what the image is going to look like, because the little screen that's on the camera is useless. It can just tell you that something was taken, but you can't get any feedback really. And you just gotta wait until you get home. So it's almost like a mystery, almost like back in the day when you had those film cameras that you could only take 24 pictures, and you gotta wait until you develop the pictures to see if you got a good shot, or you missed the whole thing, or you took a picture of your finger or something. So this is a bird in flight. I was using their, what I call it, continuous shooting mode. And I mean, it looks like it has 4 wings here, but is that movement? Yeah, that is movement. Don't think the wingtips look like that. But all of these, well, it kind of got this one in focus. And that is the raw. That's what we can do. Okay, that's not terrible. I mean, I wouldn't print it, but this is definitely a hobby camera. Let's see what else we got aside from birds in flight. You can skip these. It's gonna be the same thing. Okay, that's not too bad either. It's not too bad. Oh my god. Oh my god. That's not too bad at all, man. Just take it back. So this is this the raw? Let's see. That is the JPEG. So this should be even better. Nope, it's not. Interesting. Interesting. Let's turn the highlights down. Can we get this? So is it just that overexposed? Let's drop the exposure a little bit. I guess. And then we can raise the highlights a little bit. And this is increase the saturation of the blue. And luminance also. Let's drop that. I mean, it's kind of closer now, but I still prefer the, is it falling apart here? Yeah, it looks like trash right there. Looks like the bird has some kind of rash. If you got trypophobia, look away. All right, let's keep going. More birds in flight. Let's see this one. Yeah, that's not too bad. All right, let's keep going. We got this duck here. That's going to be the raw file. That doesn't look too bad at all, man. From a distance. From a distance. I mean, you can even see the beads of water. And this was with, this is with the telephoto lens. So no stabilization. 1/640th of a second, f5.6, ISO 100. And this goose was coming real close. So I think he still uses telephoto for this, it looks like, yeah. And this is a raw. Okay, let's see what we can do with this one. That's not too bad at all. That looks so cool. So cool. Let's see what it did with the JPEG. It looks like it has a green tint here on this one, I think. Yeah, it's okay. And then a swan was some distance away. That's gonna be a trash photo. All right, let's skip ahead and see what else we can get. I was trying to get some insects real close. That's a, looks like some kind of bee, I think. And that's the raw photo. That looks real good. That looks real good. Real good. Just don't zoom in. And then let's see this one. I got even closer for this one. Let's see the JPEG. And this is it with which lens? This is the shorter range lens. So let's see. Yeah, you just can't zoom in, but it's fine. That looks real cool. All right, now I did try, later on in the video, I did try a long exposure. I didn't have a filter on, but the place was kind of dark. But I think a long exposure with a tripod would have worked here for this shot. This is a raw. So let's see what we can do with this one. It's not too bad. Let's decrease the highlights a little bit, decrease the whites, and increase the saturation. What's in image? Okay, it's not too bad. Okay, let's see what we got for, let's do some blue. Yeah, it's not too bad at all. That's a JPEG, that's what the camera did. So let's see if we could, man, that doesn't look too bad at all. Definitely usable. Definitely usable. And I was trying to get some bees as they flew by. That looks really nice. Not sure what this looks like on YouTube, but on this screen it looks real nice. Real nice. Just don't zoom in, that's all. Just don't zoom in. All right, what else we got? We got this bee that was real close. Look how out of focus that background is, man. Okay, I get it. I get the appeal. Definitely keeping this. Definitely keeping this. Definitely. Cameras have come a far way, and I have to say I do miss the tilt screen function, because it was hard to get low down shots like this one. I had to almost lay on the ground. But you could eyeball it and try to get it, lay on your belly, that kind of thing. And I do miss having a preview of the image, but then you had to think more, because then you had to look at the exposure meter that's in the viewfinder and only in the viewfinder. And when you make ISO changes, the image doesn't change like a modern camera does. I mean, it tells you an estimate of what, if it's overexposed or underexposed using the exposure meter, but nothing else. And so you just have to use judgment and go with your framing. You got your framing right, and you hope that it comes out nice. So by and large, I did trust the exposure meter. And I tried to keep the exposure meter at or about perfect exposure according to what the camera was telling me it needed. And it looks like it worked for the most part. The dark images that I took earlier, I could tell that those are going to be underexposed. Right? But images like this where it's in direct sunlight, I use the exposure meter as a guide. Let's try to get this one. Let's see what this does. Man, that looks good, huh? All right, what else we got? Trying to get these flowers here. That doesn't look too bad at all. All right, what else do we have from today? Okay, I was trying to get these ducks. Okay, these didn't come out as nice as I thought. Any of them came out nice? Not one. Which lens was this? This was the telephoto, so no stabilization. So any movement with the ducks, even though it's 1 to 50th of a second, any movements with the birds is going to be a problem. Let's see. Let me see if we can edit this. Can we? No, we already did. All right, then I was trying to get this feather to see what we got, and the flowers in the background. Okay, all right, that's gonna be trash. You can even see some color fringing here. It's gonna be trash right here, but not the camera's fault, really. All right, so this one shouldn't be too bad, I don't think. Yeah, that's not too bad at all. That's not too bad at all. I was trying to get this guy. I don't think his feathers are purple like this. I don't think so. All right, what else did we get? I got some pictures today. Nope. Oh, this was before. I think this was yesterday. This is of my cat. That looks pretty cool, man. Look at that bugger. And then let's see this one. Got it to look right at me. See, this would have been nice if I could get really down low, but I don't think the cat would have stayed still. So I had to just eyeball it and try to get it at an angle. So it doesn't look great. But picture quality, I think, is more than satisfactory. And this is just a random picture of the sun coming through. Let me just take this off because that looks good already. And then let's do exposure down and change the white balance. That's not the color of the floor. All right, so this chord is white, so let's see what it does. That doesn't look too bad at all. All right, let's see what we got here. Let's keep going. We have cat through the door from some distance. What's up, buddy? And then this one really close. Hey, man, that looks good, huh? Oh. Let's do a shot. Let's zoom in. Okay, it's not gonna be great. This is, she just came to lay right next to me. Let me see. You can see the veins in her ear. All right, what else we got? This is from today, I think. Let's turn the exposure down. Okay, let's see what else we got. Do we get anything else? Okay, so this is no good for any dark picture. If there's no light, I wouldn't use these for anything, because once you try to recover the shadow, it's going to be trash. Or you gotta use a tripod, and hopefully nothing moves with a long exposure. So I just try to take pictures that had that was directly in the sunlight, like this one. So if I see something in the sunlight, even if all around it is shaded, I took a picture of it. So that doesn't look too bad at all. So that's akin to what it looked like. That's more like what it looked like when I was there. But then you can recover a good amount of detail. That's pretty good. And then I was trying to focus on this bit of grass here. That does look pretty cool. Let's go back a little bit. See this one. Anything that was colorful or in the sun, I just tried to get it. So I was trying to get this plant here that has the early signs of fall, it looks like. And then I try to get these acorns. Yeah, that looks nice, huh? Looks real nice. And then that's the JPEG for the same picture. So there's obvious benefit to using RAW and JPEG. All right, let's see what we got. Now I just use the wide angle of the lens to get the sunset. Now, the actual, when I was looking with my naked eye, I could see more mountains here. So let's see if we can recover that. Yes, we can. What about the JPEG? Can we do the same for the JPEG? Yes, but it looks like trash. And that, my friends, is why you use RAW and JPEG. So you see that the background here is just blown out. It's falling apart. And even if we lower the shadows, lower the blacks, you can't fix that. But with the RAW file, you can get way more detail back here. You can't even tell that there's a utility pole here. Even if we lower the exposure, nothing says this. But the RAW file, you can tell that there's more stuff back here. And this is of the city. I'm on a hill here taking these pictures. And that's the RAW file. See what the JPEG looks like. Already you can tell that there's less detail. No, actually, no, it looks pretty similar. Pretty similar. Let's compare them. So this is JPEG on the left, this is RAW on the right. I mean, that's pretty similar. I mean, it's more pixelated over here, but you know, it's okay. All right. If I had to pick one, I would go with, actually Actually, both of them look good to me. Then I was just taking random pictures of the bushes here because it was colorful. This is on the top of the hill. Let's see what else we got. We had this acorn. I was trying to get a picture of the acorn in focus, which should look good. And then there's a, you can't see it, but there's a plane in the background about to land. It's right here. But it's out of focus, so we wouldn't see it anyways. You can kind of see it here in the JPEG. And then this is overexposed. Don't know what I was doing there, but I was just taking a wide shot of the city in the background. And then what else we got? We got a stone pillar. Someone built a stone, like a stone hill. Man, that doesn't look too bad at all, man. Just can't crop in for nothing though. I just tried to eyeball it. This again was a low down shot, right? So this is low to the ground. So I had to just guess. Fortunately, the autofocus works perfectly. So, I mean, as perfect for this camera as it is. And so I couldn't even see what was in the viewfinder. I just aimed the camera at it, pressed the shutter, and that's what came out. And then this is of a cricket, but I don't think it's alive though. I don't think it is. Yeah, half its legs is gone. What happened to you, buddy? And then what do we got here? Oh, I was trying to get this puddle of water on the top of the hill. And what else we got? We had, I think I tried to get this small patch of grass with a reflection of the small puddle. Yeah, that's what I was trying to do. So that doesn't look too bad at all. That looks nice. This is a small puddle, by the way. My whole foot could fit in here. But I was trying to get this in focus and get the reflection of this bit of rock here. And then let me see what we got. Okay, this bush was sticking out. I was trying to get this bush, and the camera focused perfectly on it. Ignored all this stuff, but it only has 9 autofocus points anyways. So once you put it on it, it's gonna focus on it. Now, admittedly that would be difficult with autofocus for today's cameras with all these autofocus points. You'd have to use spot focus or something to get it. But with the 9 autofocus points, and each of these are pretty big, you can just put it right on it and it just grabs on to whatever you put it on, which is pretty cool. That's the JPEG version of it. And then, okay, so this is my attempt at a long handheld long exposure time to get this small puddle of water that was running between the rocks here. It looks like trash, but if I had a tripod, perhaps it could work. I tried this multiple times, and each of the times it just looks like garbage. Admittedly, I can't blame the camera for this because I was just bracing it on my knee and shooting for a second. I think it's a second. Let me see. Yeah, 1 second. And it looks like garbage. So that's all on me and terrible skills. Looks like I was swinging the camera around on a string. All right, and what was I shooting here? Oh, there's a bird here somewhere. But it's supposed to be in the center of the shot, right here, I think. Kind of in the center. Yeah, it looks like garbage. Let's see what we got. All right, and this one is going to be underexposed. So here I was testing the exposure meter. So this was telling me that it was underexposed, and I said, no, let me just try it anyways because I like how it looked. And it doesn't look too bad at all with the raw image. I guess that's as bright as you can get it with a JPEG. Let me see. So if we turn the exposure down, maybe to about there, that still looks good. I was trying to get this in focus because the sun was hitting it. So I imagine I wouldn't need a lot of light to illuminate this. And that looks pretty good. This was with f5.6, 1/100th of a second. And I got these birds near the mall. There's a crow that was just hanging out, watching me. Crows are pretty smart. And then I tried to get birds in flight again. And I think I got a better shot at them this time, because that looks pretty good. Let's raise the shadows a little bit. Raise the shadows a little bit more. That looks pretty good. I'm just gonna, for giggles, let's crop in. I know it's gonna look like trash, but actually, that doesn't look too bad. That doesn't look too bad at all. So I was just focused on the bird and I just tracked it with the camera. And oh my God, that looks incredible from this distance. Let's zoom in. It doesn't look like it's, yeah, actually, that doesn't look too bad at all. That doesn't look too bad. Let's see this one. That's trash. And overexposed. Oh, I was trying to track this one into the sun, but obviously it looks like I would have needed an ND filter. This one. Wait a second. What? What? There's something there. Got some flare here. There's something there. I don't know what this is. Interesting. Interesting indeed. The sky was blue. Let's leave it. Wow. And the rest of them I was tracking the birds to see what I could get. There's a bird on this car here. Let's see what it looks like. That's a nice car, by the way. And then this bird is just taking off to see if I have any food. That's not too bad at all. This is not a trash camera. Not a trash camera. You can tell, just to take it off, you can tell that it's doing a reasonably good job autofocusing on a bird that's flying. Now, the focusing points don't change. The keeping the shot sharp would depend on my hand movement and the shutter speed, obviously. So I couldn't shoot at half a second. This must have been, yeah, 1/640th of a second. Bird in flight, 9 autofocus points. Not too bad. And then this last one is just birds just hanging out here on this utility pole. That's the JPEG. This is the JPEG. All right, so overall, I think this is a good camera. I am going to keep this and use this as a hobby for sure. And this is what, 200 pictures on this memory card so far. And I think I could have, let me see how much memory is on here. 1 second. See how much memory is on here. What's the capacity that's left? Let's see. So with 200 pictures on it, I still have 7 gigs left. So I only use a gig for 200 pictures. Well, that's mostly because it's only an 8 megapixel camera. Still, I think this is a good camera, good hobby thing to keep the clicks down low on my other camera. Cool stuff. Glad I have it.